Hi YouTube, it's Kathy and this is my weekly entertainment wrap-up for November 28th through December 4th. This week I read 2 books, I watched 3 shows, I watched 3 movies, and I listened to 2 books. Today I'm filming down in the library because usually I get up early enough that my roommates aren't awake and I can film in the dining room area, but my roommate's awake, so we're down here. I usually don't film down here because I don't really like the lighting, but at least there's books in the background. The first book I finished this week was Such a Pretty Smile. This is a horror book and I believe it doesn't come out until February because I read it as an ARC from NetGalley, but this one concerns a mother and a daughter and 2 different timelines. In the timeline of 2004, it's just the mother because the daughter has not been born yet, and she is living with her fiance, she's teaching some art classes to a small child, but then she also starts hearing these weird sounds, and then starts to remember that maybe something traumatic happened to her as a child. Flash forward to 2019, and she is a very strict parent to her child because she's constantly afraid something's going to happen to her child. Her kid has a best friend. That best friend isn't the greatest person in the world, however her kid also has a crush on her best friend, which is bad because her best friend is just the worst. So because of that, some bad things go down, some creepy things happen. And then in both of these timelines, little girls are going missing and turning up dead, and their deaths have been very violent by the looks of things, which leads the mother character to wonder how it's possible that somebody could be killing again across state lines and 15 years later. I liked this. I liked how we got to know different things about these characters as time went on and kind of solve some mysteries by going back and forth between the timelines. It's creepy. If you want something creepy, I highly suggest it when it comes out. Next I read A Touch of Ruckus. This is a very cute middle grade book about this girl who goes to stay with her grandmother for a little while. She's used to basically being the glue in her family. Something happened when she was a kid and she threw a tantrum and she felt so bad about it that now she feels like it's her job to make everybody's life easier, which is hard when you're like 12 years old. She also has what she calls a super burden, which is if she touches objects, she can sometimes get the memories from the object. And this is a burden to her because she's lost friends by accidentally gaining their memories and then being awkward around them afterwards because nobody knows that she can do this. While she's visiting her grandmother, she also makes a new friend in the form of someone called Fox. They are non-binary, it says it right on the page. It's wonderful. They have this cute little friendship to possibly relationship down the line thing going that I just find adorable. But Fox also has ghost powers and thinks that maybe our main character also has ghost powers because our main character ends up touching something without her gloves and then a ghost comes out of it. So Fox is like, wait, I didn't know you could do that. And she's like, yeah, I didn't know I could do that either. I can't tell you my secret about the memories thing though because you'll think I'm weird. From there, some ghosts start doing some questionable things and then they go on a mission to figure out why the ghosts are there and what they're trying to tell them. This was delightful and I would gladly read another middle grade book by this author. I've already read Cattywampus and that was also very good. On to the shows I watched this week. This week is actually the week of the Queer Lit Readathon, so if you're watching this the day it's posted, this is the first day. And because I won't have a lot of time to actually watch things this week, I decided I needed to watch as much of Station 19 as possible last week. So I finished the 2nd season and watched the entire 3rd season. So I only have 1 season to catch up on and then like the 5 episodes that are out of the current season on television, then I will be fully caught up. This show is great. There's lots of complexity. I love the amount of crossover between characters with Grey's Anatomy because you can play with a lot of different storylines with characters that you're already emotionally invested in if you watch both shows. And there's a big reveal at the end of the season, as tends to happen at the end of seasons, that I actually ended up starting to call at one point, and now I just really want to know why it's a thing. Also, I'm very aware that the next season is the season happening during the panorama, which is obviously going to be slightly different from Grey's Anatomy, which obviously focused on the medical side of things. I know that this one has to do with more of the social justice movements that have been happening since the panorama, so yeah, I look forward to crying through those episodes because the show already makes me cry, and then we're gonna throw in some serious real-world topics because why not? This week I also stayed current on Canada's Drag Race, and they threw a very queer prom for 5 teenagers. They did makeovers for prom, and I kept going, why is it called prom? That's not what it's called in Canada, but I was told by other Canadians that they have called it prom. It was called prom when they went to school, and they're a little bit younger than me. Not that much though, so I'm wondering if it's a regional thing, because here, at least when I went to school, the whole night is called grad. You get your diploma, you go and do what people would call prom, like you go to a dance type of situation or whatever. All of that was called grad to me, so I'm just old, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. In any case, I would love to attend the prom that these teens went to because it seems like it would be super fun. The other show I watched this week, I actually watched at my best friend's house because I went to visit her actual house that she now owns for the first time since she moved into it. And we ended up watching The Great, which is a TV show about Catherine the Great, but it's very tongue-in-cheek. As you're watching it, the visuals are very stunning and historical, but then the dialogue brings in contemporary language, and mostly characters will just talk about, yeah, that person's terrible, we should probably kill him off type of thing. So it's very interesting in that way. There were a few jokes every once in a while where I'm just like, oh, okay, I didn't like that one particularly, but so far I am enjoying it just because it is ridiculous. This week, because December hit, we finally watched Home Alone, which is always just a masterpiece of, oh my goodness, this small child would have killed these men so many times over. I think it gets harder and harder to watch the older you get because you can just feel the pain radiating through the screen every time something happens to one of the burglars. That being said, if you're able to turn off your responsible brain, it's always a fun time. Because it's one of my roommate's favorite Christmas movies, and because they have been watching old episodes of Home Improvement, we also watched The Santa Claus. This continues to be so much fun. If you've never seen it before, Tim Allen is the lead, and basically on Christmas Eve one night, he hears some weird sounds, so he goes outside, and Santa falls off the roof, and Santa disappears, and there's a card that says, put this suit on, the reindeer will know what to do. He ends up putting the suit on, he ends up becoming the next Santa. As this all happens, his kid is with him, he's divorced from his ex, and his kid is very, very excited about the fact that his dad is the new Santa, to the point where all the other adults in his life don't believe him and think it's unhealthy and actually try to stop them from seeing each other. This one also has some fun moments, but you can see a lot of crossover between this character and the character he plays in Home Improvement. There's a lot of the same kind of humor and mannerisms in it. Also at my best friend's house we watched Downton Abbey, the movie. In the movie, the king and queen are coming to Downton Abbey for one night only, and the staff is really excited to actually put together meals and the parade and all this stuff for the king and queen, but then they're told, no, basically they travel with their own people and they're going to make all the meals and do all the things, and you don't get this honor whatsoever. And the staff kind of comes up with an idea how to actually end up being the people that serve. And then of course there's other things going on upstairs as well. I have conflicted feelings about this because on the one hand it's like, yay, they get to do this thing that they're very excited about, but on the other hand, classism, oh my god, the classism. Because I haven't watched the show in a while, and because it did take me a while to like ease into the classism that is the show, it took me a while to ease back into being happy for these people, even though they were clearly very happy with what they were doing. The first audiobook I listened to this week was Stay Gold. This is about a trans teen who goes to a new high school and he decides he's going to go stealth because it's Texas, and yeah, I would too if I were him. Stealth, if you're not familiar, is when a trans person goes to a new place and just pretends they're cis, doesn't mention that they're trans, because they don't want people to do anything negatively towards them because of who they are. When he gets to this school, he meets this very pretty cheerleader. They hit it off, but then he has to figure out whether or not he's going to tell her, and all of those types of things. I really enjoyed this story. However, there are trigger warnings for assault, suicidal thoughts, and brief mentions of blood, so just know that going into it. Obviously, also transphobic comments are made at a few points in this book. What I think I liked the most about this book is how it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows when he came out to somebody who doesn't really know what it's like to be trans, because I find that all too realistic, unfortunately. There are places for the books where people just accept you no matter what, right off the bat. However, I don't think everyone in the population is there yet, so it was nice to see representation of somebody not really getting it at first and then kind of growing into understanding it. The other book I listened to was the first book that I finished for the Reindeer Readathon, and that's The Broken Girls. This one has a dual timeline as well, in the 1950s in Vermont, as well as 2014 in Vermont and New Hampshire, I believe is where she actually lives. All of the states on that side of the country are really tiny though, so it's pretty easy to travel between them from my understanding. In the 1950s timeline, Idlewild is a house for broken girls, if you will. It's basically where society puts girls that they don't know what to do with. So say somebody was born on the wrong side of the blanket, which is a euphemism for a bastard child. Sometimes they are sent to these types of places. Maybe they became in the family way or something like that. They get sent to this place. Maybe they were just assaulted. Maybe they're just having mental health troubles and just actually need some form of support. Ship them off to Idlewild Hall. In our 2014 timeline, there is a journalist that wants to do a story on this place because it is being reopened and she wants to know why. She has a particular obsession with this location, however, because 20 years previously that's where her sister's dead body was found. So not only is she really trying to make sure that the guy that went away for killing her sister really did it, she also stumbles on some mysteries that happened at the hall before that happened, so we get to see different timelines of people trying to figure things out and what happened with these girls, especially to do with this mysterious figure called Mary Hand, which is basically the local ghost. As time goes on in the 1950s timeline, different girls see her and they just really don't want to because it's spooky as all hell. This is also very complicated by the fact that we find out that one of the girls that we're following in the earlier timeline was murdered and her body is found 60 years later. I thought this was good. It kept you guessing as to why this person died. It also showed some history that we don't see very often. We got to see somebody else figure out what happened with her own family member. Overall, I enjoyed it. That's it for this week. If you've read, watched, or listened to any of these, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. If you don't feel like leaving a comment but want to make sure that I know you were here, just leave me an emoji or a smiley face if you happen to be on your keyboard. Some people have asked if there's a way to financially support this channel, so I set up a Ko-fi account, which is a digital tipping service. The link for that is down below, as well as the link to my PayPal and my Amazon wishlist in case you would like to buy me a book. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!